recognize the person that won. We've forgotten who we are.
Who gonna turn down 50 million? Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about.
Recognize the person that won. We've forgotten who we are. Who going to turn down 50 million? Now I've had to turn down 50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity in that virgin hole I was telling you about. Guess who's stirring up Hollywood again? It's none other than Terrence Howard, and he's bringing some hot tea about the industry stay. You can't take the vertebrae out of your back just to fit inside of someone's ceiling. You won't believe this, but Terrence is joining the likes of Katt Williams and Dave Chappelle in calling out Hollywood. He's got a bone to pick with them for trying to strip black men of their masculinity. That's right, Terrence is saying Hollywood's putting pressure on actors to play roles that don't vibe with their image. So what's the buzz? Apparently Hollywood's been tagging Terrence as difficult to work with. Why? Because he wasn't keen on certain roles they offered him. Now, we've all heard those whispers about Hollywood pushing an agenda to make black men appear more feminine. 9 big names like Chappelle and Williams have been vocal about this. Flaming black actors are nudged to wear a dress on screen to climb the fame ladder. For Terrence, he's not having any of it. Word is he got labeled as hard to work with just because he said no to wearing a dress for a role. And now, he's spilling all the beans. You have to stand up full and proud, stand up erect. You know what I mean? Hinting that he might even quit acting because of this whole agenda. He's sick of it, and honestly, who could and blame him? Let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in the early 2000s, Terrence was the guy everyone was talking about. Remember his Oscar-winning performance in Crash Him? He was on the fast track to becoming the next big thing in Hollywood. Then came 2008, and he rocked it in the Marvel blockbuster Iron Man as Rye. But here's where things get spicy. Fast forward to Iron Man 2, and suddenly Don Cheadle taking over his role. Rumor has it Terrence was offered a massive pay cut for the sequel, like we're talking 50 to 80 less. And while we're still not clear on the full story, there were whispers about him having temper issues and being tough on set. The Terrence didn't just sit back and take it. He spoke up, claiming he was being framed as the angry black man, especially after he started calling out Hollywood's agenda. And this isn't a new conversation. Lots of black comedians and actors like Eddie Griffin have pointed out how Hollywood pushes black actors into wearing dresses for roles. Griffin even made it a point in his 1999 comedy, Foolish, where his character is pressured to wear a dress for a role. Now, let's talk about a major moment in this whole dress saga. It was 2006, and Dave Chappelle is on Oprah's couch, spilling some serious tea. He shared this crazy experience about being pushed to wear a dress for a movie with Martin Lawrence. The way he described it, it was like something straight out of a movie script, and not in a good way. Chappelle was totally not into the idea and made it clear it was asn't his thing with certain dots. Like when I see that they put every black man in the movies in the dress, at some point in their career I'd be connecting. Do like why all these brothers got wear dressed. That's happened to me. I'm doing a movie with Martin. Fast forward a bit, and Kevin Hart enters the scene. When asked about Chappelle's story, he kind of shrugged it off, saying nothing like that ever happened to him. Kevin was all about setting boundaries and limits. The plot twist: a few years down the line, Kevin shows up all 8 Zene rocking a dress in a sketch. Suddenly after that sketch, Kevin's star just skyrockets. Now, there's talk that this dress moment on Asol's a game changer for him, a stepping stone to greater fame. The story doesn't end there. Katt Williams jumps in with his tag key, linking the whole dress deal to the Illuminati. Yeah, you heard that right. Katt's views is that wearing a dress is like a rite of passage in the industry, a choice some actors make. He points out how so many big names have done it before, like in A Big Mama's House in Amita. But when Kevin Hart did it, people started asking questions, wondering why this pattern keeps repeating. Cut to today, and people are starting to see some sense in what Katt Williams said back then. It's like his words are getting a second look, and folks are wondering if there's more to this dress thing than meets the eye. Recently, Katt opened up about having to turn down big money deals. We're talking $50 million. Who going to turn down $50 million now? I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about, because they came with conditions he wasn't cool with. He's all about keeping his integrity, even if it means saying no to some serious cash. Now, let's see. Circle back to Martin Lawrence. For a bit, Katt Williams revealed something pretty interesting. He claimed that Martin tried to get him to wear a dress for a Big Mama's house, but Katt wasn't having any of that. He turned it down flat. And guess who stepped in Brandon T. Jackson? Katt was like, if you want someone in a dress, go get Brandon. And they did not just once, but twice. It's like Katt saw it coming. But here's where Terrence Howard re-enters our story. Reports have been popping up, suggesting that this whole dress issue is a big reason why Terrence is stepping away from Hollywood. He's had enough. In a recent interview, Terrence cleared the air about those rumors of him being difficult on the Iran man. To said he made it clear that his stance was about not letting Hollywood dictate how a black man should be portrayed on screen. According to Terrence, there's this push in the industry for black actors to adopt a more feminine image if they want to make it big. He's not about that life. He was raised to be a man and to stay true to himself. And he's calling out Hollywood for not letting men be men in their storytelling. Terrence feels like there's this formula where white men can be strong without being seen as a threat. But when it's a black man, it's a whole different story. In another talk, this time with Revolt, Terrence doubled down on his views. He spoke about how black men are often portrayed as a threat unless they fit a certain image. It's like Hollywood has a problem with strong black men, according to Terrence, and he's not willing to compromise his principles to fit into their narrative. He's standing his ground, insisting on the need for stories that allow men to be men without stripping away their strength or identity.